Hello. If you've watched at least one of my previous videos on Vise restorations, I know I said that I would probably never get a Wilson bullet because I never can find one in my price range. Well, that came along. Make sure that's in the camera. Yep. So this was in my price range, definitely. It was 20 bucks. You can see it has one major problem. It's missing the screw and the handle and all that. But for that price, I was definitely willing to take it on as a project and see if I could figure out how to make one. And then a buddy of mine bought a smaller vise with a whole lot of issues, where he basically was looking at parting it out. He wanted me to see if this screw would fit. It is not the same size of vise, but I'm kind of wondering. It's not going to be as long. Anyway, it's definitely worth giving a shot. If nothing else, it might give me a pattern to go by to make another one. You know, because it does turn out to be just a matter of length. I'm trying to convince him to keep the donor for this piece, and let me try to rebuild it somehow. But he's kind of mad at himself for buying it. You can see this. Somebody actually welded this one jaw into it, and the other one is just missing, and the fixed jaw is broken, and there's all kinds of problems with it. So he's kind of over it. Anyway, before I can even get to finding out whether or not this will work, I have to get this thing unstuck. It has been obviously sitting out in the weather for a good portion of its life, and so I'm about to try to set up an electrolysis system. I mean, I've used one before, but I always had it in a 5-gallon bucket. This is too big for that. So that's my project for today. I'll be getting that set up. I won't be giving a tutorial in electrolysis. There's so many of those out there already, but I'll bring you back when I've got something rigged up. Excuse me, I'm swatting a bug, a big one. So I don't know whether you'll be able to see down there. Yeah, there we go. Hey. I'm not seeing anything like broken down in there, so maybe I lucked out and this thing is intact. It's just missing the piece. That'll be really nice. I've just been doing some preliminary scraping of the crud off of it. Alright, so here's the tub I had in mind, and it looks like it's going to work. But I'm changing tack here. I think I'm going to try going at this thing with some penetrating oil, you know, up in here, around here, on these guys, and see if I can get it apart before I start worrying about electrolysis. I just went back and rewatched an old Keith Rucker video from 2015. I remember he had done a really good job of explaining how, or showing, demonstrating how these come apart. I was wondering whether this was captured any way other than the screw up in here, like I had to disassemble this. This should come right out. So now it's probably as good a time as any to find out whether the screw fits down in here, because the screw draws it out using this retainer clip. So it's probably going to be my next step. I'm going to take this apart. If somebody has put some, at least one of these, one screw's missing and one is some kind of replacement that I hope they didn't jam up in there. I hope it's the right thread at least. But anyway, time to get this apart and see whether this actually fits. And so maybe it'll help back this thing off. We'll find out. Yeah, so for the two screws that were in here, this was the original. I think this is probably the original. And then somebody had jammed something up in there that is just no, I mean, it's a Phillips and it's a finer thread, so that's a shame. I hope they didn't tear up the threads in here too much. But I'll probably hunt through my hoard. I'll clean this up and see if it fits these well. Hunt through my hoard to see if I can find some good ones. If not, run down to the hardware store. In the meantime, now is the time to find out whether or not this actually fits. What do you think the chances are? Those holes are lining up. That's a score. All right. Same thread. What do you think? Now this. Yeah. See, I wouldn't want to stick with this as the final solution because the nut is. I don't know if you can see. Here, let me show you. The nut, the screw. Excuse me, comes back to right here. And the nut, if I remember correctly, well, no, I think maybe the nut only goes back to here. This might be the same long length. Well, let's find out if she fits. How about we do that? Friend Jay is going to be so happy. It's like, I hope somebody gets something good out of that piece of crap. Looky there. Alright, we're in business. Just got to get me some good screws. Alright, slight complication. I went to check how deep these went. They're quite deep, actually. So, that one. Got a broken off screw in there. That's going to be a Bruce Whitman job. I'm guessing that's probably from them trying to back this in. Maybe that happened after this thing got all seized up. Somebody broke that off. Trying to get it out of there. That's too bad. We'll figure something out. So, I don't think either of these screws is original at this point. This one is a 1024, and it, obviously didn't go very far into there. Although that might be all, that might be all the thread space that is actually usable. Not sure, but just want to see. Yeah, I believe that's correct. I'm not getting resistance, so I'm going to clean that out. Let's get the crud out of there. I'll give me a tap handle and run these in. Alright, good news is I can feel it coming out all the way on the other side, so it should wind up being good and clean. I'm done. Hopefully it was some air too. Thought it might be a blind hole, but I can see by the way the casting is that it's hollow right in here. And this guy. little candy piece. So now I really want to get this thing apart because I can set this, the movable jaw up in my mill and try to get in there with a reverse drill. It's the best thing I can think of. Well, actually, you know what? I could even, if it comes to drilling it out, it shouldn't be a problem because at some point it's going to grab, and guess what? This goes all the way through. So that's encouraging. You should be able to just drive it right straight through. Alright. So I just need me some fairly long 1024s. I'm going to go ahead and I had this sitting upright with the penetrating wall down in there. I'm going to go to something different. I had just WD-40, but I'm going to go with, what's my other go-to? Something different. It's not Croyle, but liquid wrench. Yes, liquid wrench. Alright, so I got it sitting at an angle so that gravity will be helping me with that liquid wrench getting down in there. I'll be letting that sit there for a while I'm hunting down some screws. I'm going to stand it up this way again, put some more liquid wrench in it, let that sit a while, and I'm also thinking I'm going to find a nice dowel that I can drive through here to pop this dust cap off at least, then try to get the more substantial cap off. It's got some sort of a pin arrangement on the side. At that point, I might be able to get the nut out, and then that should clear me to use some sort of wood or brass to drive out this way from the inside, which I think would be the safest way if it comes down to using some force on it. But also, by clearing all this out, that allows me to flip it this way and penetrate that on that side, and hopefully eventually the thing will just say. Alright, let's give this a try. Oh, yes, cool. Thought it wasn't going to make it. It's all the way back there. There we go. So that's the nut. Alright, I've made an executive decision. This guy is loose, but the handle is all bent up. This one is not loose. The handle is similarly bent up. I think I'm going to cut at least this one off, and I'll just remake it later. That way I can get this one nut out, and that might help me to work this thing and start loosening this guy. So that's coming off. what kind of pin arrangement I got here. Good. Moving. That's good. Alright. That's too big for this job. I gotta find something, some piece of metal that I can drive down in there. Can you see that? It has started to go. This is a tent stake. Let's see whether it'll do the job. Now Keith's, he went all the way through the other side without coming out. There we go. Alright. So these are not meeting at the same angle the way they worked for Keith when he did his. He drove this bottom pin up through the hole and out the other side. So it did pop out. I was trying to guide it over towards the other one and hitting it, and it just went beep. So there was room, just didn't have faith. Alright. Back to this guy. Yay! It's out. Woohoo! One good nut. Alright. Now. Oh shoot. Yeah, there's really no room for me to get at that I don't know what you're going to call the cylinder. I'll put you on handheld real quick. Show you what I mean. Can you see the lip up in there? That's the column where cylinder. So that didn't work. Alright, but I still think we made progress. I can now flip this thing this way and put some liquid wrench and stuff down around that edge, and hopefully that'll work back into there, and then just start giving it gentle persuasion. If nothing else works, I go back to plan A and try running electrolysis on it and see if that'll free it up. So check this out. I wondered if I was actually making a battery out of my Vise by putting it, charging it in this electrolyte with the anodes. And as it turns out, yes, I am. I'm just connecting the ground. I got it backwards, so this would be positive over here. This would be negative. So yeah, I got 0.6 volts. I think a second ago I had 0.8. Anyway, time to get that thing out of there before it discharges. Meaning undoes all the work I did to it. So I ran it in the electrolysis baths for about 6 hours. My rig, I don't trust to just like leave overnight or something. I like to be nearby so I can keep a look on it. So this could have done with more, for sure, but it helped clean it up quite a bit. Did not, this thing's still good and stuck, and I've tried various things. I've run the screw in and tried to pull it this way, and I've put a bar up in here and tried prying. And anyway, one thing that electrolysis did reveal is, yes, this does remove. This line was so well hidden previously that I thought that this was a different design from the one that Keith Rucker took apart, and it didn't even have a removable cone here. But yeah, that comes out. So that's actually really good news. Make sure I'm not. Yeah. Because if I can get it off, then that gives me a way to put something in here. I can turn down a piece of brass or aluminum or something like that, and try schwacking. If schwacking doesn't work, I can actually get something to hold it up here and put it in my press, and I'll get this thing apart. If I can get this, I think this is the best way to go now, is to try to get this out. And for Keith, he was, since he had the movable jaw removed, it was a pretty easy matter. He took like a hammer handle, wooden handle on the hammer, and just went, and it popped right out. I got to figure out how to grab that little lip up in here without that access. So that's the next thing I'm going to try here. All right, progress. I got it out. I'd like to say I used some kind of clever contraption and or got some brass implement down in there, but I didn't. I got this old beater crowbar that I have no idea where I even got. It came pre-broken. Someone had already been beating on it. But since it had the angle, I was able to get in there and catch this edge. I do not appear to have damaged it. I was as gentle as I could be, but I was fully aware that I was putting, steel on cast iron, so I wasn't happy about it. But that sucker was stuck. It wasn't going to come out with, little love taps. So, all right, now I can see down in here and see what I got to get to doing, and I will basically make something slightly smaller than this radius to put in there to reach the actual ram of this movable jaw, and go from there. Holy cow, that was harder than I thought it would be. But it finally came apart. I really abused this drop of aluminum that I picked up somewhere, and it, even by the time I got this all the way in, it was still fighting me. And so, a little piece of Delrin or something, I don't know. Wow. But she's apart, so that's a win. Next big challenge is going to be these jaws. I haven't decided, should I put it back in electrolysis and see if that'll do anything more, just start eating away at that and freeing it up. Or should I just get in here with the grinder and go right across it and try to make myself a purchase for a screwdriver and a impact kind of thing? I don't know. What do you think? What should I do? So another thing I was thinking about is I could mount this on the mill, and that would allow me to get an end mill down in here, clean it up down to the point where I could then use some reverse thread drills and try to catch it and yank it out, or the individual screws there. The jaws themselves are going to be hardened steel, so I don't want to be trying. If they weren't, or if I thought that I could take it down without destroying my end mills, I'd love to just buzz it all down, and that would give me plenty of room to, I can put a screw slot in it, or give me options, put it that way. Actually, I could buzz it on down till I get past the head of the screw, pop this off, and then I would have the studs sticking out that I could work with. That would be ideal, actually. Maybe that's what I could do. I could put it in the mill like this and just buzz the caps off of these screws, and then work on popping this off. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I know Keith, he didn't see any reason to even take this key out of his, because his is really clean to begin with. I had this feeling this was kind of like, loose, and I could tell there was material under it, and I was wondering if that may have been the primary binding problem with this, if it got rust up underneath of it and forced it out and jammed it that way. I don't know. Is this... doesn't seem like rust, it seems more like grease. So I don't know. It was a theory, but I definitely needed to take it apart so I could get this crap out of here. Yeah, so I don't think it was that. I don't think it was binding because of the pin, the key. I guess it was just a little bit of rust around the sides. It's just such a tight fit that it didn't take much. It's the only thing I can think of right now. See if you can see down there over there. You see that? Had to swap batteries there. Yeah, that's a look down the barrel. How's that look? You see? Yeah. There's no obvious rust spot, rough or rust spots or anything like that. I just think it was just such a tight tolerance. A little bit of either old grease that had caramelized, and then maybe a little bit of rust, and she became a bear. I think Keith's had a date on the key itself. Mine's got some writing here. I don't know if you can see it. It's been sort of worn away. It's like CHAREXP, and whatever was down here has been rubbed away, so maybe that's where the date was, the date code. That's too bad. I'd really like to date the thing. I don't think there's anything down there. No. Yeah, I haven't found a date code on this, unfortunately. What do you think? Think that's a date code? June of 1950? Or is it just a part number? I was expecting the date code to be somewhere else, but that's the closest thing I can find. Well, this is the rig. What do you think? I only have the one screw holding it in place. Wish I had a nice big angle that I could tie it to that way, but I don't. I think I'll be okay. I'm not sure I'll be able to tell when I'm through the bolt. I just want to make sure I don't go down into the jaw. Ah, that looks a whole lot like the head of a screw, doesn't it? Yeah, okay. What do you think? Did I get far enough up into there? We're gonna find out. I took it over to the my little welding table where I could clamp it down and then get some really good force on it, and she popped off. Yeah, you can see she was rusted up in there. That's a shame. Oh, it's going good. I want to make this more than necessary. With Jello. It looks like 1/4 which would be good because I have some good cap head screws in that size that would make good replacements. This one looks like it's going to be the more challenging of the two. Yeah. Alright, watch your eyes. go. Let's find out. I don't know what's happening. I don't know whether it's coming out. The weld is breaking. I think I'm turning it. Hey! Seems to be. Yes. It's turning. Woohoo! Alright. This is a happy day. It's still pretty hot. What do you think? All right. Oh, what do you think? Bruce Whitman would be proud, right? Maybe, maybe not. This is kind of interesting. I guess that's where somebody replaced this jaw previously, and I don't know. Wasn't quite so careful about it. But I think my method worked out pretty well. Yeah, I'm still not a welder. Got the job done. Right. Now for the movable jaw. Woohoo! Alright, last machining operation on this vise, I hope. So I don't know if you remember, the threads here are good. These are stripped part way, but there's some meat back in the back, so I hope they'll be okay. I don't know. And this one has a bolt broken off down here. So these penetrations go all the way through to the other side. What I'm hoping I can do is use this little end mill that I have to put a little flat spot there, and then come in with a center drill and get a drill point started, and then just use a straight drill, not a left drill, but a regular right-hand drill, and go down into it and hopefully eventually catch it and push it through. That's what I'm hoping. Don't know. We'll see if it works. Well, I was defeated in my attempt to get that stuck bolt out of the front where the retainer clip goes for the handle. I think I know what I'm going to do about this situation. Since I have one suspect hole and then another one that's got something stuck in it, I think I might just make two brand new holes for the clip, slightly off of the old one, and I really want to take my time and lay it out and have it nice and symmetrical and everything, so decided to step away from that project, go ahead and knock this jaw out. I did the same thing. I set it up in the mill and, milled off the heads of the bolts and then beat this thing off. Still got to get these out. I don't, again, I'll try with the vice grip first, and then if that doesn't do it, then I'll weld a nut and hopefully that'll work. So, yeah, that'll be for tomorrow. I'm beat. I think I'm gonna wrap it up today. So, yeah, it's coming along. I think this thing's gonna turn out all right. I think all the major components are in fine shape, and I'll have to make myself some new jaws. Yeah, looking forward to it.